On this episode of Seahawks Today, we will be talking about the Seahawks offensive coordinator search as we are down to 2 candidates according to the latest reports. We'll tell you who those candidates are and give you the latest update coming up in just a matter of moments. Also, got some big news on Leonard Williams and his future in Seattle as the Seahawks plan to keep Leonard Williams around. We got a contract proposal that we'll show you coming up in just a little while from right now. Before we get to all of that, though, folks, all week long, we're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers before the big game on Sunday. We are making some significant progress, too, as we are just over 700 subscribers away from reaching our next milestone. For the latest happenings in your Seattle Seahawks all offseason long, from news and rumors, trades, free agency. We're talking about all these coaching hirings. No one's covering the Seattle Seahawks like we are here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. Let's get to that next milestone. We'll get started with today's show. And then there were 2. According to recent reports, the Seattle Seahawks are down to 2 potential candidates to be the next offensive coordinator under new head coach Mike Macdonald. The names include someone that fans in the Pacific Northwest are very familiar with, Alabama offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb, who was most recently with the University of Washington. And then there is Detroit Lions passing game coordinator Tanner Engstrand, who is serving on Dan Campbell's staff, working with Ben Johnson, has done a terrific job. These 2, very different in their coaching philosophies, but both rising stars in the coaching ranks. Which direction will Seattle go? That remains to be seen. Now, asked about the offensive coordinator search and what he's looking for, Mike Macdonald made some interesting points. Let's go back to what he said a few days ago. We're looking for the right person to come in here and build this thing. So we want somebody that's open-minded, that has a growth mindset, that can connect with their players and build a system that's unique to the Seattle Seahawks, that's going to live here for a long time, who's going to be the one spearheading it. Now, what is interesting of note, Mike Macdonald did say that NFL experience is not a priority for the new OC. And so that's what makes bringing in a guy like Ryan Grubb pretty interesting, giving him the benefit of the doubt, is that Mike Macdonald has said that just because a guy like Ryan Grubb, for example, hasn't worked in the NFL, that isn't a big deal of sorts. So let's compare our 2 candidates. Let's start with Ryan Grubb. Joined the Alabama coaching staff this offseason following Kalen DeBoer from the Washington coaching staff to be their OC after a successful tenure with the Huskies, helping them reach the college football playoff this year, winning the Sugar Bowl, getting to the national championship game. Was at Fresno State prior to that. And Ryan Grubb's scheme is an air raid offense with heavy emphasis on the shotgun. And we've seen with the air raid offenses, I think one of the big misconceptions is the lack of running the football. But in Grubb's case, they did a very good job of running the football with the Washington Huskies this past year. Dylan Johnson was a 1,000-yard rusher. So it's a very unique offense, and it's evolved over time. Then we head to Detroit, and that is where we find Tanner Engstrand, who is the passing game coordinator, and before that was a offensive assistant there in Detroit. And the scheme that he coaches there with the Detroit Lions is a pro-style West Coast scheme, similar to the Jim Harbaugh offense that we've seen at Michigan and San Francisco, and now heading to the Los Angeles Chargers. Emphasis on the 2-back and multi-tight end sets. Personally, I don't think you can go wrong with either coach. I would sit here and be more than okay with either guy getting the Seahawks offensive coordinator job. But I slightly lean towards Ryan Grubb. And the reason why I lean towards Ryan Grubb is the track record of those accomplishments with the Washington Huskies in just a short amount of time. Grubb's offense at Washington this past year, a 14-1 record, the only loss being in the national title game to Michigan. Had the national title appearance, also won the Pac-12 championship this year, a team that was driven by their offense. They were 11th in the FBS in points per game this past season, 36 points a game. Michael Penix Jr. ended up as a Heisman finalist. And in the latest Mel Kiper mock draft, Mel is projecting that from that Washington offense from last season, that 2 players will get picked in the first round of this upcoming April's NFL draft, not including Michael Penix, by the way. So from what we saw, Grubb did a really good job of developing talent there within that Washington Husky offense. So if you made the call, which OC would you rather go with? If you rather ride with Ryan Grubb, type R for Ryan Grubb. If you rather go with Tanner Engstrand, type T for Tanner Engstrand. Let us know in the comment section or pinned comment today which OC you rather have in Seattle. Today's show is sponsored by GameTime. GameTime, the place to go for the best seats and the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're talking sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, GameTime's got you covered. And we are offering first-time users $20 off on their first purchase when they use the promo code SeahawksChat. Maybe you're going to a Kraken game. You choose the event you want to go to, then you select the seat, and within a matter of moments, you're checking out on GameTime. Real fast, simple, and easy. And you can do so with Apple Pay and Google Pay, all major credit card providers, just within a matter of moments. So download GameTime. And if you're planning to head out to Vegas and go to the big game between the Chiefs and the 49ers this weekend, you can do so and save $100 when you use the promo code Vegas100. And that doesn't apply for just first-time users. That's everybody. And then you can use that promo code SeahawksChat if you're a first-time user, double up on your promo codes, potentially save $120 on the big game this weekend. Download GameTime. Terms and conditions do apply. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. GameTime, proud partner of Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Glad to have them on board here on today's show. Leonard Williams, could he be making his return to the Seattle Seahawks this offseason? According to a new report, the Seahawks are hopeful that they will get a deal done with Leonard Williams, and that Leonard Williams' camp is optimistic that he will be staying with the Seattle Seahawks organization, signing a new deal. Here's more from the Athletic's Jeff Howe. Defensive lineman Leonard Williams played well enough for the Seattle Seahawks after they acquired him at the trade deadline, and there's hope the sides can reach a contract extension, according to a league source. Leonard was the Seahawks' best defensive player in the second half of 2023 when he joined this team after that trade from the New York Football Giants. And it would be just silly. In fact, it would be downright wrong if the Seahawks don't get a deal done to keep Leonard Williams in town. Because what we saw last year, Leonard Williams played an extremely high level. 5.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 62 tackles, 2 pass breakups. Leonard Williams was fantastic. And you looked at the grades of what he did, the nerd numbers from PFF backed up the performance that he put together. An overall grade of 76, run defense grade is 68, pass rush 676.2, and a coverage grade of 69.0. Solid all across the board. I know that the Williams trade didn't necessarily result in what Seattle wanted of getting that playoff push, but that wasn't Leonard Williams' fault. He laid everything out on the line. And here's the other thing. You can't simply just walk away from what you've invested here. This was not a very cheap trade. Remember, this was an expensive deal that the Seahawks put together to bring in Leonard Williams. You gave up a second-round pick this year and a fifth-round pick next year to get this deal done. I don't want to be waltzing into April and not have my second-round pick and not have Leonard Williams either. To me, the moment you made this trade, you made a commitment that you have to keep Leonard Williams long-term. He earned it based on the way he played on the football field, and then what you've invested. You can't hang up the towel at this point this late in the ballgame. I'm looking at, personally, I think Leonard Williams gets about a 3-year, $52.5 million deal. And I know what some of you are thinking. The Seahawks don't have cap space. How could they afford a guy like Leonard Williams? We talked about this in our Cut Candidates video, what was it, about a week or two ago, that the Seahawks, there's some simple, easy cuts they can make, and all of a sudden you got $50+ million in cap space. Take about a year one cap hit of about $7 million. You can work the contract around that. Average about 17.5 per year, 27.5 guaranteed. Sign me up. I'm keeping Leonard Williams around. We're enjoying our prime years, and we're locking up the defensive line with adding Leonard Williams to the fold for the foreseeable future. Will the Seahawks be able to re-sign Leonard Williams? What do you think? Type Y for yes, N for no. Weigh in the comments section. Tell me what you think if the Seahawks get the deal done or not. Appreciate you joining us here on the channel today. We are continuing to keep you posted on the Seahawks coaching staff, all the hirings that are going on. Whenever there's a new hiring, we make a video on the channel. We're going to be live tomorrow afternoon. We will see you then. Subscribe now for free and have a great rest of your day.